Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something truly fascinating. It's about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his very first conquest. We're talking about the capture of Torna Fort. Our mission here is to really unpack the details from the sources. How did a 16-year-old manage this? It was a pretty secret operation. The strategy involved, the sheer surprise of it. It's quite something.
It absolutely is. And just to give you a sense of the place, Torna Fort, it's also called Prachandagad. That means massive fort, and it lives up to the name. It stands at, around 4,603 feet. You find it in the Pune district, Maharashtra, right there in the Sahyadri mountain ranges. It's imposing.
Definitely sounds it. Okay, so let's set the scene a bit more. Who actually held this massive fort before Shivaji Maharaj stepped in?
Right, so before him, Torna was under the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur. The man in charge on the ground was an Adilshahi Kildar, basically the fort commander. Sources mention an Inayat Khan, and here's the interesting bit. It was super important strategically, controlled the Mathaval region, the routes down to the Konkan coast, but it wasn't particularly well looked after by the Sultanate. Sort of neglected, you could say.
Okay, poorly maintained but vital. And that's where it gets really interesting, doesn't it? The year is 1646 CE, and Shivaji Maharaj is just 16. 16! How astonishing is that for this kind of move?
It really is remarkable for someone that age, and you need to understand, this wasn't some huge pitched battle, not at all. This was more of a covert thing. Clever negotiation was involved, some strategic bribing of guards apparently, and then, occupying the fort. The sources suggest it all happened pretty quickly, maybe within a few weeks. No long siege or anything like that. Swift, decisive.
Wow, a covert mission. And get this, Shivaji's own father, Shivaji Maharaj, he was serving Bijapur at the time. And the sources say he was completely unaware of what his son was up to. And can you imagine? Being 16, planning this bold move, knowing your father's position, what kind of support did he even have?
Yeah, that's a key point. Even without his father's knowledge, he wasn't alone. He had a core group. People like Kanhoji Jedhe, a local Maratha chief, helped with the local intelligence and planning. Baji Pasalkar, a commander from Manaval, was crucial. And Isaji Kank, his bodyguard, totally trusted. Plus, he had his own band of, young Mughal comrades, trained and loyal.
Okay, so we had a tight crew. Let's zoom out a bit. Beyond the tactics, why was this victory, this first one, so important? What did it really mean?
Oh, it was foundational. This wasn't just taking a fort, it was Shivaji Maharaj's first real conquest. It really marks the beginning of Swarajya self-rule. It proved his courage, his strategic thinking right at the start, and militarily. Controlling Torna gave him a solid base in the Mathaval region. You absolutely needed that for any further expansion. And he didn't just take it, he transformed it. Immediately started major repairs, strengthening the defenses, added powerful new bastions like Zunjar Baruj, that's a big fortified tower, built new gates like the Konkan Darwaja facing the coast, and significantly, he renamed it from Torna to Prachandagad, the massive fort. A statement, really.
And it became a key headquarters for him in Maratha, didn't it? A place to train his early forces, gather supplies. Right, so let's quickly recap the core nuggets for everyone listening. We've got a 16-year-old pulling off a secret fort capture, brilliant tactics with limited resources, and basically the single act kicks off the foundation of an entire movement towards self-rule.
Exactly. Torna wasn't just about territory. It was the first clear step towards Hindavi Swarajya. It showed, even at that young age, incredible leadership, planning, and just sheer boldness. It set the stage for everything that followed.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How one decisive move, one bold action, especially by someone so young, can actually lay the groundwork for something huge, something monumental, inspiring a whole future. A powerful thought indeed. Have you ever stopped to think about what really makes a place legendary? Not just, a dot on a map, but a place where history really happened, a birthplace for something huge. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that kind of place. Rajgad Fort, people call it the King of Forts, and, maybe more importantly, the birthplace of Swarajya, that Shivaji Maharaj's idea of independent Maratha rule. Our mission here is to really dig into the history of Rajgad. We want to figure out how Shivaji Maharaj took this fort, and turned it into the absolute heart of his kingdom, and why it was so crucial for everything he built later on. We've got a whole collection of historical notes and excerpts to help us out.
Yeah, and just to set the scene for you a bit, before it was Rajgad, its name was actually Murumbdev Fort. It's located in the Pune district, Maharashtra, about 40 kilometers or so from Pune city, and it's high up, around 4,300 feet above sea level. Pretty impressive. Originally, though, it belonged to the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur. It was, well, kind of an old fort, maybe not perfectly maintained, managed by a local commander, a Kildare. But even then, its strategic position was pretty obvious.
Okay, that's interesting. So if it was maybe a bit neglected, how did it end up on Shivaji Maharaj's radar? He was known for his strategy, right? So what made him focus on this particular spot?
Ah, well, that's where the brilliance comes in. The capture happened around 1647 CE. It was actually pretty soon after he'd taken Torna Fort. And what's really striking, it wasn't some long, drawn-out siege like you might expect. No, the sources we have call it more like strategic planning and small conflict. It seems it all happened quite fast, maybe just a few weeks. Shivaji used a mix of tactics. There was some sharp negotiation, for sure. Plus, he used his influence with the local people there and then, well, just acted decisively. Swift action. It wasn't just about fighting. It showed you could win by being clever, using diplomacy, getting local support, and moving fast. And right away, he renamed it. From Murumbdev to Rajgad, the king of forts, a clear message.
Wow, okay, so not just brute force, but a really smart, multi-pronged approach. That says a lot. But, leaders don't achieve things like this alone. Shivaji had his genius, yes, but who else was involved? Especially in that Velhe region. Who were the key people backing him up, helping make this happen?
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a team effort. He had some incredibly loyal and capable people with him, really dedicated. Key figures included Kanhoji Jedhe. He was a major chief in the Maratha area, and his support was crucial, brought local knowledge, manpower. Then there was Baji Pasalkar, known for being right at the front in many fort captures, very brave commander. Shivaji Kank, too. He was Shivaji's personal bodyguard, fiercely loyal. And Netaji Palkar, he later became the Senapati, the commander-in-chief. He was involved in the Maratha strategy early on. Also, Morapant Trimbak, he was vital for administration and strategy right after the fort was taken, organizing things. These guys were like the foundation stones for his early success. Shows how important having the right team is, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does. So he gets the fort, strategically brilliant move. He's got this solid team. But let's get to the core question. Why Rajgad? What made this fort so unbelievably important to Shivaji Maharaj? How did it become more than just, another military base? Why the heart of Swarajya?
Well, that's the fascinating part. Its importance wasn't just one thing, it was layered. First off, location, right? It was perfectly situated in the Sahyadri Mountains, close to his naval power base, but also near the Konkan coast, which meant access to trade, potentially naval power down the line. And the terrain itself offered amazing natural protection, really hard for enemies to approach, let alone attack effectively. Second, and this is huge, it was the actual capital of his kingdom for 26 years. Think about that, from 1648 all the way to 1674. So not just a temporary camp, this was the official seat of power, a symbol of his rule. And third, well, it was the command center. Politically, militarily, everything. All his early campaigns, his big decisions that shaped the Maratha Empire, they were planned right there within Rajgad's walls. It wasn't just central on a map, it was where the idea of Swarajya really took solid form.
That's a really powerful way to put it. Not just a fort, but the brain, the nerve center. Okay, so once it became the capital, what did Shivaji actually do to the fort itself? How did he change it physically, administratively, to make it fit this new central role?
Right, he didn't just move in, he actively shaped it. He had a vision, and he built it. Our sources talk about major reconstruction. He built stronger, taller walls, massive bastions for defense, added completely new buildings. The most famous addition is probably the Balakilla, the main royal palace complex, built right at the very top. Best security, best view, and inside these rebuilt walls, he set up the Rajsabha, his royal court. That's where decisions were made, justice handled. He also established the kingdom's treasury there, centralizing the finances. Very important. And it became home, a safe place for his mother, the revered Jijabai, and his queens. Actually, his son, Rajaram, was born there in 1656. That really cemented its legacy as a place for the dynasty, too. Rajgad stayed the capital, the real hub, until 1674, when he eventually shifted the capital to Rajgad.
It's incredible to just picture all of that happening within those walls, the politics, the family life, the big strategic decisions. So thinking about that history unfolding, what were some of the truly defining moments, the key events that happened at Rajgad? Events that really shaped the Maratha Empire as we know it?
Oh, definitely. Rajgad saw some absolutely pivotal moments. 1648, that's when Shivaji officially declared Rajgad the capital of Swarajya, a foundational moment. Then 1656, like I mentioned, the birth of his son Rajaram, a moment of continuation for the future kingdom. Fast forward to 1659, hugely important, the planning for the confrontation with Afzal Khan. That happened at Rajgad. That whole campaign is a make-or-break moment, planned from the safety and strategic advantage of the fort. Later, in 1665, things got difficult. The initial talks about the Treaty of Purandar with the Mughals, they started from Rajgad, shows its role even in diplomacy and, well, compromise. And then in the 1670s, after that legendary escape from Agra, where did Shivaji return first?
Rajgad.
Exactly. He came back to Rajgad, found safety, regrouped there before making the final move to Rajgad as his capital. It was his anchor.
What an amazing story. We've really traced its path, haven't we?
Yes.
From this somewhat overlooked fort to being completely transformed by Shivaji Maharaj's vision and action. It literally became the embodiment of Swarajya.
It really did. Rajgad wasn't just a stronghold. It feels accurate to call it the birthplace of the Swarajya vision, you know? It was from right there, from those high walls, that Shivaji carefully built his empire. Not just through war, though there was plenty of that, but also through smart administration, clever diplomacy, building loyalty. It was the whole package, starting there.
It served as his home, his HQ, the foundation of Maratha identity and pride. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How many other places out there, maybe overlooked now, just need that spark, that visionary leader to see the potential and turn them into something truly historic, the heart of a whole new movement. Makes you think. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to explore Rajgad Fort. It's this incredible stronghold, really, that became the absolute heart of the Maratha Empire. It's much more than just stone and walls. It's packed with symbolic power, strategic thinking, and in this deep dive, we're aiming to pull out the key nuggets from the source material you've shared about Rajgad. Our goal isn't just to know what it was, but really dig into why it mattered so much. You know, to Shivaji Maharaj and the whole Maratha Empire he was building. Okay, let's unpack this fascinating piece of history. So let's start right at the beginning, its name. Before Shivaji Maharaj, it wasn't called Rajgad, right?
No, that's right. It was originally known as Rari Fort.
Rari, okay.
And Shivaji himself renamed it Rajgad, which quite pointedly means Fort of the King.
A clear statement. And where exactly is it located, for those trying to picture it?
It's in the Rajgad district of Maharashtra state, deep in the Konkan region.
And it's high up.
Oh, yes. Impressively so. About 2,700 feet above sea level. It really dominates the landscape. And, you know, even before Shivaji captured it, its strategic value was, well, obvious.
How so? What made it stand out?
Well, first, that hilltop position. Steep cliffs all around. It made it incredibly difficult to attack a natural fortress.
Right, hard to assault.
Exactly. And second, its location relative to the coast. It was close enough to influence, maybe even control, the sea trade routes. Very important economically.
Which does make you wonder, like you mentioned, how did such a valuable spot end up described as semi-ruined?
That is the interesting question, isn't it? It suggests potential that wasn't fully realized before Shivaji.
So who was holding it before him? Who controlled Rari?
Before Shivaji, it was under the control of the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur.
Okay, Adilshahi.
And the local administrator, the Kildar, was a man named Prachandagad Moore. He was a local chieftain, basically managing the fort for the Adilshahi.
Got it. So a local power under a larger sultan.
Precisely. And the sources emphasize that even in that semi-ruined state, it held great potential.
So the location was just too good to ignore, despite its condition.
Exactly. It was like a prime piece of strategic real estate just waiting for someone with the vision, like Shivaji Maharaj, to see what it could become.
And that vision became reality in 1656 CE. That's the year he captured it.
Yes, 1656. He took it from that Moor family of Jawali we just mentioned, who were vassals of the Adilshahi.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, as you pointed out earlier. The capture itself wasn't just a straightforward fight, was it?
No, not at all. It wasn't some long, drawn-out siege. Shivaji's approach was, frankly, quite brilliant.
How so?
It was a mix, diplomacy and direct attack. He launched a very specific campaign, and part of it involved accusing the Moors of betrayal.
So undermining them politically first.
Exactly. It weakened their position, maybe their local support, before he actually attacked. Then the military move was decisive.
And fast, you said.
Remarkably fast. The whole thing, taking the fort, it only took a few weeks. Which really highlights Shivaji's tactical skill, his ability to blend that political maneuvering with swift military action.
Okay, so he's got the fort, it's strategically brilliant, but how does it go from being just a fort, even a key one, to becoming the capital? Why Rajgad specifically?
Well, that strategic location we keep talking about, it becomes even more important. As a hill fort, that 360-degree view, it made it nearly impregnable, perfect for a secure base, a capital you could defend.
Makes sense. Defense is key.
But it was more than just defense. That proximity to the Konkan coast, That gave him control over vital trade routes. Access to the sea meant access to trade, wealth.
So economic power too, funding the empire.
Absolutely critical for funding his vision of Swarajya, self-rule, the independent Maratha kingdom.
And that all culminates in 1674, when it becomes his official capital.
Yes, that's the pivotal year. His grand coronation, the Rajgad was held there. That's when Rajgad officially became the capital. And it wasn't just a title. It became the administrative heart. The Rajya Sabha, his royal court, was established there. That's where the big decisions were made.
Like a nerve center.
Exactly. It housed the state treasury, huge granaries. These weren't just buildings, they were symbols of the wealth and the self-sufficiency of his independent kingdom. It really solidified its role as the administrative core.
And that didn't just happen instantly after the capture. You mentioned a period of intense development.
Yes, roughly between 1664 and 1674. That decade saw a massive transformation. Shivaji poured resources into making it a true capital.
What kind of changes are we talking about?
Major ones. He didn't just patch things up, he completely rebuilt and expanded. Stronger walls were constructed, new gates built. The Maharaja, the main gate, is iconic. It wasn't just functional, it was a statement.
Impressive. And inside the walls.
Inside, the Rajwada, the royal palace complex, was built. This became the center for everything. The court, meetings, the king's own living quarters.
Okay.
And crucially, that special coronation platform, sometimes called Nagar Khana or Raj Sabagruha, was constructed specifically for the 1674 ceremony.
Purpose-built for the coronation.
Yes. And beyond the grand structures, think practicalities. Secure chambers for the treasury, large granaries for food security. It showed real foresight.
And you mentioned religious structures too.
Indeed. The Jagdishwar temple was built inside the fort, adding a spiritual dimension. And later, after his passing, his own samadhi, his memorial, was built there too. It was a complete vision for a capital city.
Now, Shivaji Maharaj obviously drove this vision, but he wasn't alone in this massive undertaking. He had a team, right?
Yeah.
Who were some of the key people helping him capture and develop Rajgad?
Oh, absolutely. It was a significant team effort, showcasing the talent he gathered around him. Well, there was Morapant Trimbak Pingal. He was the Peshwa, the chief minister, kind of like a prime minister overseeing a lot of the planning and the construction.
Okay, the administrative head.
Then, Hiroji Indulkar, he was the chief architect, the man responsible for the actual building, the forts, the palaces, that vital coronation platform, the master builder.
The architect. Crucial.
Definitely. You also had Kavi Kalash, an important advisor and administrator. He even helped design some of the complex court rituals, which were important for establishing the new imperial identity.
Interesting. What about the finances?
That was Anaji Dado. He was the revenue officer responsible for setting up the fort's economic system, making sure it was sustainable.
Right, got to pay for it all.
And militarily, Yasaji Kank was a key figure, providing military muscle and heading up security for the fort.
And Shivaji's mother, Jijabai.
Yes, absolutely. Jijabai played a significant role too, especially in the rituals and the overall administrative ethos. She was a guiding force.
Wow, so a real convergence of different talents, military, financial, architectural, administrative.
Exactly. It really highlights that building this capital, building the empire, was a collaborative effort, pulling together all these skilled individuals.
And all that work, all that vision led to some major historical moments happening right there at Rajgad. Let's just quickly recap the key dates for our listener.
Good idea. The timeline really tells the story. So 1656, that's the capture. Shivaji takes Rajgad, sets the whole thing in motion.
The beginning.
Then 1664 to 1674, that decade of intense development, transforming it from just a fort into a capital.
The building phase.
1674, the big one. Shivaji Maharaj's grand coronation. The Rajyabhishek. This is the official birth announcement of the Maratha Empire, really.
A landmark year.
And then 1680, a more somber note. Shivaji Maharaj passes away on Rajgad Fort itself.
A poignant end to that chapter, right where it all solidified.
It really was. And those dates, taken together, they show this incredibly rapid, very deliberate transformation from just a strategic point on a map to the absolute, undisputed center of this new political power emerging in India.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you, our listener? Rajgad Fort, clearly, was so much more than just rocks and ramparts.
Oh, much more. The sources nail it when they call it the beating heart of Swarajya.
The beating heart, I like that.
It truly embodied Maratha pride. It was their administrative center, their military stronghold, a symbol of their cultural heritage, all rolled into one. That coronation in 1674 That wasn't just a party, it was the moment the Maratha Empire officially stepped onto the world stage.
A declaration.
Absolutely, and it makes you think, doesn't it? How does a physical place, a fort built on a hill, become such a powerful, living symbol for a whole nation, representing their identity, their aspirations, even centuries later?
That's a deep question.
It is, and maybe what lessons can we learn from that vision? The vision and the sheer execution that took Rari, a semi-ruined fort, and turned it into Rajgad, the majestic capital.
A really powerful thought to end on. The enduring legacy of a place transformed by vision and will. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Rajgad's incredible story. We hope to keep exploring these fascinating intersections of history with us.